The phone that only rings at 3 a.m. It all began on a quiet Tuesday night. Emily had just moved into a small apartment on the outskirts of town. Cheap rent, decent space, and most importantly, peace. After years of living in noisy neighborhoods, she was finally somewhere that didn't buzz with traffic or shouting neighbors. The building was old, sure, but solid. Brick walls, creaky floors, and the kind of silence that almost felt too thick. On her first night, Emily noticed the phone. It was an old rotary landline phone, beige with a twisted cord and a cracked plastic casing. She didn't think much of it, probably left behind by the previous tenant. It didn't even have a dial tone when she picked it up. She left it on the side table and went to bed. At exactly 3 a.m., the phone rang. Emily jolted awake, heart thudding. The ringing echoed sharply in the silent apartment. She stared at the phone, confused. Who even had this number? Did it even have service? She hesitated, then answered. Hello? There was silence, then a low, slow exhale, like someone breathing right into the receiver. Emily froze. Who is this? She whispered. The line went dead. She told herself it was probably a glitch. Maybe the phone somehow connected to another line. Either way, she unplugged it and tried to sleep. The next night, at exactly 3 a.m., the phone rang again. It was unplugged. This time, Emily didn't answer. She stared at the phone as it rang again and again, each shrill tone slicing through her nerves. After the seventh ring, it stopped. She threw it into a drawer, but it kept happening every night. 3 a.m. ringing. One night, she recorded the sound. It rang for exactly 13 times. Each night, always 13, never more, never less. On the fifth night, she answered again. Why are you calling me? She demanded. A voice whispered back, raspy, almost wet. You have to let me in. Emily slammed the phone down and didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next morning, she asked the landlord about the phone. He raised an eyebrow and said no one had used the landline in years. The last tenant had disconnected everything after some strange disturbances. When Emily pressed him, he shrugged it off and muttered, Old buildings have old ghosts. That night, she locked the phone in the closet and piled books on top of it. 3 a.m. It rang, and this time the voice was louder. I'm getting closer, Emily screamed and yanked open the closet. The books had been thrown aside, the phone placed carefully in the center of the room. She didn't remember doing that. The next day, she brought in her friend Jordan, a tech-savvy, no-nonsense kind of guy. She told him everything. He laughed at first, assumed it was a prank, maybe a hidden Bluetooth device, but after examining the phone, he frowned. There's no power, no connection. This thing shouldn't be working. That night, Jordan stayed over. They waited. At 3 a.m., the phone rang. Jordan picked it up. Hello? Silence, then a whisper. Not you. The line went dead. Jordan's face went pale. Okay, that wasn't normal. They tried to destroy the phone the next day. Smashed it with a hammer, burned it in the sink. The plastic melted, wires curled. They dumped the remains in a dumpster 3 blocks away. That night, 3 a.m. The phone rang, perfectly intact, sitting on the side table where it first appeared. Emily began hearing whispers outside her window. Shadows that didn't move like shadows should. She started locking every door, every window, sleeping with lights on, but nothing helped. One night, the phone rang, and she didn't answer. The next morning, a message was scrawled on her bathroom mirror. Why won't you talk to me? Written in condensation. The air was dry. Emily called the police. They found no signs of forced entry, no fingerprints. They looked at her like she was losing her mind. Maybe she was. She set up a camera to film the phone. All night, it sat still, no ringing, no movement. But when she watched the footage from 3 a.m. to 3:13 a.m., it was just static. 13 minutes of static. Then her reflection in the screen, except she wasn't there. She was filming from bed. But her reflection stood by the phone, smiling. The next day, Jordan begged her to leave the apartment. But Emily felt trapped, like the phone wasn't just tied to the apartment, but to her, every time she tried to leave town, something happened. Her car wouldn't start. The bus would break down. One night, a taxi she called had an accident before it arrived. It was as if something was stopping her. Then came the 12th night. The phone rang. 3 a.m. She picked it up, trembling. The voice was clearer now, male, cold. One more night, it said. Then I can come in. She dropped the phone and ran. She spent the day in a hotel across town, but couldn't sleep. She waited for 3 a.m. in fear. No phone rang, no whisper, nothing. She dared to believe it was over. On the 13th night, she returned to her apartment. It was silent. The phone sat still. She stayed awake, staring at it. 2:59 a.m. 3:00. 3:01. No ringing. She exhaled, laughed even. I beat you, she whispered. Then the power went out. Total darkness. She heard it, the creak of a door opening, the soft drag of something wet on the floor. Then her cell phone buzzed. A single notification. Call from unknown 3 a.m. The ringtone matched the landlines exactly. Emily answered, hands shaking. You let me in. Behind her, something breathed. Would you like a part 2? Or want this edited into a formatted document?